Okay, a little new setting here. Hopefully you guys can appreciate this. I'm gonna try to find a good camera angle. I probably should have brought the stand instead of just like holding it with my hands because the angle is gonna be pretty horrible, but we're gonna try all new styles, especially for the beginning of 2025. I wanna really, I think I'm using the right word here, accentuate myself into all the different modes of expression. And when we find the ones that we like, not just me, but when you guys like to consume and I like to create, we're gonna meet at that happy medium, rendezvous there a little bit and get you guys the best content that I can. But it doesn't start without me exploring different avenues and different settings, environments, all that. Makes the story a little more personal. So hopefully hopefully the birds and the crows don't feel like interrupting too much, but they do want to participate. So hopefully you guys can give them space, and the microphone wants to give them some validation as well. Before we get into this video, I want to share some gratitude and just how thankful I am to be able to be this person for you guys, to be in this role and this identity, and to not feel like I have to turn back ever, no matter how much rejection or loneliness I'm feeling on this journey. But I can just keep going and keep creating, keep expressing, and I'll only get deeper connected with the right people that I'm looking for in this life, as apart from them as I feel like I've been. So hopefully I can make you feel, however you need to feel when you come here. But most importantly, it's just being able to receive the information. So many of us, especially I think the world we live in, just puts us in a position to where our feelings are impacted way before we're even able to process the information that's being given. And in doing that, we're not able to really not just receive, but beyond that, apply what we've been given to change the circumstances that we're living under. So hopefully if that's something that we can address just in a day-to-day or a week-to-week process, then that's something that's going to be pretty good for all of us. But again, this is a day-to-day type situation. This is a lifelong path that we're on. It isn't like it isn't a trend or a phase or a program or a get rich quick, a get fit quick. This is taking responsibility for our whole entire life one day at a time. So hopefully we can make that something worth doing and worth committing to for anybody, rather than feeling like there's an ins and outs type situation to it, because that's a lot of what creator communities are being built right now. And it seems about time. It seems that we're ready for new types of creators, new types of cultures, and new communities to be built on the back end of that actually serve the people who are in them, not just the creators and the leaders who end up exploiting them at some point. So enjoy the view, enjoy the angle, enjoy myself, and let's get back into it. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be speaking about the creative artist's path and just the non-traditional life path, and how confusing and really scary it may be to pursue in our capitalist reality that has so many people dependent on money that they don't have, or dependent on resources that they're not being provided or allowed. So if you are somebody who, watching these videos, still continues to pursue that creative lifestyle, that non-traditional lifestyle, then this is a perspective that may benefit you something on the journey that you're on. I thought I was having to myself as I was really trying to, and I can't tell if it's burnout necessarily, which it probably is, or just like analysis paralysis, but I'm trying to find ways out of my own creative blocks, especially for my lifestyle, so I can feel in the flow of the energy that I need to express. And I'm realizing that me wanting the journey is so confusing and so almost like open-ended. I want to give myself peace and clarity by knowing what the next 25 steps are, so I can just feel accomplished or validated in the consistency that is, okay, next step, next step, next step, next step, but knowing rather than having to like rely on my own discernment and my own awareness. But being so overwhelmed by all the potentials or all the potential possibilities that could happen and the routes that I could take has stopped me from making any decision whatsoever. The art that I've had to put out has not been put out. The things I had to say haven't been said. The videos I'm supposed to make don't get put out. And it's just like, I know all the things I have to do, and I'm living the life on the other side of creating in my head, but my outside reality is not reflecting that because I never bring that idea into fruition. So for those of you guys who, and a lot of you guys who may be going through this, you may think it's just like fear. Like it's just, how do I explain it? It's just like fear of being judged or like fear of being critiqued or criticized. But I genuinely believe it's more than that. It's you understanding as this non-traditional life path, you know there isn't that much, how do I explain this? You know there isn't a great amount of insight as to how you're supposed to go about this path. We just end up seeing people who do it successfully, and then we're supposed to hope that we can scrape from their journey to see what applies to our journey so we can hopefully get the same success that they had, or a success in similar lines with what they're living. Rather than realizing their journey, like the ambiguity of the journey they're on and every single creative is on, it's first going into the self to decide what gifts are being accepted, what gifts are being shared and need to be invested in. And beyond that is deciding, okay, from this which I accept within myself, what do I have to give to the world, and what am I willing to allow to really like stain my, not my reputation, but my identity. And that's where, I mean, for me personally though, the analysis paralysis has gone. Hold on, forgive me. This thing isn't recording right. Okay, I'm better. All right, that's totally my fault. I got lost like crazy at the end there. But what I'm trying to say before I get lost, because we're gonna end up getting into a tangent here anyway, but you as a creative, you don't know every step of the path. Like you aren't like, okay, we're going to this community and then we go to this school and then we go to this workplace and then we have this like corporate ladder kind of climb up. You are at the mercy of your awareness of your creative gifts and your ability to invest in them and actualize them, especially in a world that does not appreciate, much less acknowledge, the value of the creative artist. So where it may benefit you, actually not even may, it will benefit you to have, whether it's relationships or experiences, connections in your life that do follow some kind of traditional consistency, you have to realize that your path, you as somebody who's committed to the creative path, the only step you're going to know is the next one. And from there, you're probably going to try to question what the next 100 steps are, but in knowing that next step, then you have to decide what you're going to do, whether that answer is right or wrong, to get access to the next step. But you will never get step 2 without doing or really acknowledging step number 1. And that's where many of us get so confused or stumped on our own creative journeys, because we don't want to accept the fact, hey, as a creative, we are also creating our path. We aren't just creating art to go into a traditional consumer model lifestyle. We're creating the circumstances, and with every actualized opportunity comes more opportunities on the back end of that, but also with new perspective, new awareness, new ideas, and new investments. And we're constantly at the mercy of the last decision that we made, the last art project we put out, the last thing that we have expressed. But in not being able to have that, and it's almost like a short-term memory, and not being able to have that real short-term memory, but to think that you have to have this whole perfect cookie cutter journey or this perfect chronological story, it's what's stopping us and almost forcing us to create these illusions of expectations that we naturally fail because we're not supposed to succeed in them anyway. And then we punish ourselves for not being successful human beings, rather than question ourselves as to why we are trying to force a creative path into a consumer model. And that's why there's so many conversations. I don't think people really get into it as much as they should, but that's why there's so many conversations about just getting into flow and surrendering to the universe, surrendering to your creative path and to your own gifts. Because at the end of the day, you're even waking your own self up to who you are. This whole entire life, and I made in the last video, I said that internally life goes backwards and externally life happens forward. And the reason why I say that is because in this life, you are being raised to a certain level of self-awareness, and then from there, your life circumstances and opportunities give you the chance to continue to dig into who you are. But that's at the mercy of your own desires and your ability to address and confront yourself. So the relationship that has to time being kind of forwards and backwards, hopefully you can still hear me with this freaking plane going up, but the relationship that has to the time going forwards and backwards is that you, as you grow on this creative journey, you're not going to a place to access artistic gifts and talents. You are creating so much from within yourself. You are sharing outside of you and reminding yourself of your abilities and your unique perspectives and ideas. Now, you're not just creating all of these. Of course, you're accessing them from another conversation we can have in another video. But you, in being able to create, are reminding yourself of what type of artist you even are. But we live in a world where you aren't allowed to accept yourself or to decide who you are before society accepts you or really compensates you and then allows you to accept yourself. So you're out here thinking that you're not an artist unless you get 1 million views, or you sell 1 million records, or you do this ridiculous thing on the internet and connect to like a content creator or something. And then again, that just only circles us back into a society that does not appreciate the creative artist or the value that the creative arts field provides to this world that we live in. But you guys are going to see the consequences of that real soon, bro. Tech bros have already decided. Tech bros have bought America. Tech bros brought America, and they got 10 years. They got 10 years to turn this shit into fucking Dune 3. Or whatever sci-fi dystopia they want to call it. But for those of us who aren't a part of that new world dystopia, that Battlestar Galactica that they're attempting to manifest, this information is for you. For those of you who might not even be creative artists, but creating a new life path, creating a new identity, just being a part of the creative life in a hyper-consumer society, a hyper-consumer mindset-driven society. You're gonna have to just do things differently. And a lot of these things you don't even know you're supposed to do, you have to wake yourself up to. But it's very fulfilling though. That's the one thing. As scary or as lonely or as confusing as the journey may be, it's one of the most fulfilling things ever, because every step of the way it's closer to yourself. And every step of the way it's you being able to trust yourself, to become aware of yourself, to develop that relationship with yourself. So when you throw yourself and everything that you are out into the world and it boomerangs right back to you, maybe with consequences or results that you didn't like or you didn't expect, at least you know that it can come home to you and you can continue to care for all the aspects of you that aren't appreciated by this world that we live in. And then keep throwing yourself out there, because the second you stop is the second people stop seeing you, the second people can stop appreciating you, the second you stop giving people the opportunity to be a part of your story as it continues to grow every single day. Now, even just kind of bringing up that conversation about time being forwards and backwards, I think I want to make a whole entire video on that, which I probably will. I don't know. But at some point I will. But I hope these really put us in a position, especially as artists, to see like, yes, we're going to have to be the ones valuing ourselves like very deeply before society gets to a point where it's like, yeah, we can't do this black and white shit forever. But to not automatically pivot from, I'm not like traditional people, there's something wrong with me. That's just like, that's the one thing I'm hoping for. And that crosses into like so many different like paths, whether it's neurodivergence, whether it's like race, whether it's gender. It's the second you get into a position where you're like, I'm not like them and I want to be, or forgive me, I'm not like them and I want to be like them, because I think that being like them is going to allow me the acceptance that I can't give myself. The second you put yourself in that headspin, bro, you're done, bro. You're totally done. Whatever your life is at the mercy of you seeking that validation that goes beyond yourself, that will never be able to fulfill you as the validation of being able to accept yourself for who you are. Because there are things that the world will never be able to see or even understand about you that are only going to be able to be accessed through developing that relationship with yourself.
So why put all of you at the mercy of a world who can only see as much as you are able to express of yourself? And even at that, it won't even be able to interpret it properly because everyone's at the mercy of their own ignorance. You're putting too much up on the table. It's I don't want to get too extreme, but you know how I love to do that. It's like gambling your soul for $1 million, but you've never even seen like $10,000 before. And even worse, you don't even know the value, the infinite value that is your soul that you're offering up for that $1 million. Again, it's all perspective. And hopefully that's something that we can develop while we're here having these conversations, really trying to understand what lifestyle we're creating for ourselves. And again, it's called non-traditional life path because think about the world we live in. We're socializing people to wake up and to fetishize their own suffering, to fetishize, to dream of their own enslavement, their own nationalized dictatorship, to wake up and be proud that they don't get to live a lifestyle that they participate in creating. That's the kind of world we're creating, bro. And for all of us who are cursed with these genes of creativity, we're gonna be the first on the chopping block, bro. So, because our desire to not even just the desire to create, but the ability to continue to pursue creativity and creation and culture in a world that only wants compliance. It's too much inspiration to people who are not supposed to be anything more than slaves. And I'm telling you, that's the issue. Especially sit here and argue with me, but there's only one reason why you remove a Department of Education. There's only one reason why you don't allow people access to healthcare. There's only one reason why you don't invest in the people that live in your country. There's only one reason why you hate your own people, bro. But again, we're sparing the sociological, political conversations for the podcast. So kick it up with me on there if that's what you're rocking with. But for now, let's just kick it with the creative artist aspect of it all. I don't want to make this too long. One, because the camera angle is horrible. Two, because the lighting is kind of still ruining me, even though I got these goggles on. But to make sure that we're wrapping this up properly, it's you don't know all the steps. Like you don't have, as a creative artist, you don't have the path that is grow up, hang out with your friends, go to school, go to get a job or get an internship, get a job, get a this. Like you are at the mercy of your creativity. Almost purely, and then not only your creativity, but your ability to create beyond that. And beyond that, you're at the mercy of your ability to connect that creativity to other people who don't have access to the ability to do those same things, but desire to have access to creativity and culture. That'll come from you. Lots of responsibility as a creative artist. Lots and lots and lots and lots of responsibility, but you can, if you're able to put yourself in almost like, I'm not sure a better way to say this other than if you're able to put yourself in the flow of whatever the chaos is, then you're going to realize that you only do have to make the next step. Like you don't have to overwhelm yourself with knowing how the whole entire career is going to go, with knowing where every single dollar is going to come from, with knowing every single thing. You can start taking all of that excess energy and attention and focusing it on your ability to even create. And beyond that, to invest in yourself with how you're compensated from that creation. So you can just create more, create better, which is subjective to yourself because art is very subjective. And I'm not telling you to literally like dead brain yourself from like thinking about anything other than the next step. I'm just telling you that it's not going to help you thinking about B, C, and D if what you're truly running away from is A? It's literally wasting time that you don't have. Because again, you're living off your creativity. You're living off your ability to create. And if you're sitting here thinking about all the projects that you have to create, there is no projects out there to help compensate you, to help reciprocate the energy to you. There's nothing out there for the world to see. There's nothing out there to be critiqued. There's nothing out there to be argued over. And then that's fear that we're going to have to address. I don't know if another video, but in most of these, we end up talking about that. How that deeply rooted fear and shame is just so difficult for a creative artist to shake because it's internal. But let your peace come from knowing that 90% of the focus is the self and the inner world. Many people don't have that access, that ability to create. They might be able to copy. Many people have that ability. Many people have that ability. But they can't create because you're creating from a different place. You're accessing a different area of your life, bro, a different area of your being. And this is why, I know I'm kind of dragging this, but this is why I don't even believe in the AI artist. Like, what are you going to do? Take every single piece of art that was ever made and then throw it into a giant AI system and then just start spewing out more random creations that mean nothing because the AI does not have human feelings or experiences or empathy or understanding. The only thing it is just a super smart robot box. It doesn't know what it's like to lose somebody that you love. It doesn't know what it's like to really care about something and to pursue the impossible. It doesn't know that because it'll never feel that. It doesn't know what it's like to be left out when you want to be a part of so bad. It doesn't know what it's like to dream when you're not supposed to. It can write it out. It can describe what it may feel like. It can tell you what it's supposed to tell you, but it can't tell you the truth because it's never felt that, it's never lived that. So whatever kind of music created from that, whatever kind of art created from any kind of AI artist is only going to be to sedate the people who are receiving that art because those people are paying for a service. Give me hype music, give me this music, give me black music. And that's what they'll get, the AI edited version, a new song every single time because AI is never going to mess up. But does it even matter at the end of the day? Will you even remember any of that art? Knowing that it was only to serve your really carnal desire and had nothing to do with making you feel anything other than how you already expected to feel before you paid for that service. That's the thing about us artists. Much of the art that we do isn't even supposed to be appreciated. It makes people feel sick. It makes them disgusted. It makes them scared. It makes them afraid. It makes them anxious. It makes them sad. And those are emotions that they're spending so much of their time in their waking reality running away from. But we force them to feel that, and we force them to connect with their humanity, even when they're the ones neglecting that. AI art's not going to do that, especially when you're the one telling the artist exactly what to do. Start looking at this whole AI revolution as democratized slavery, and you're going to start realizing that there's no way in hell this thing lasts more than 10 years. But again, to conclude the video, because I like to overthink about other things, not my creative art. One step at a time. One step at a time. That's literally all we have, and it's all we can control. The step that is when the ball is in your court, that's the only move you can make. So make that move every single time. Stop worrying about the consequences of that move if you genuinely believe in the decision that you're making. But that belief, that discernment, that awareness is not going to come from waiting on somebody else to give it to you or waiting for somebody else to validate it in you. It's going to come from you deciding that I'm going to make this decision whether I'm right or wrong because I decided to, and I'm willing to take full responsibility for the consequences because the consequences of this decision will show me what decision I have to make next. And imagine creating a life that is so aligned with who you naturally are at all moments of your life because you're constantly responding to life in real time. You're constantly giving your real self to the real world. You're constantly being and expressing in a world that's competing for acceptance that they're never going to get, wearing masks that don't even fit with who they really are, bro. Seeking the validation of people who they don't even like, who don't even like them. So maybe we can conclude this video by saying, have a little bit more grace on yourself if you're a creative artist, especially in this world that we live in the technocratic dystopia, the American oligarchical technocratic dystopia, every word I can throw at it, that we're walking into. Just be at peace with the fact that the journey is yours. As long as you're willing to take full responsibility for it, the journey is yours. And create from that knowing. Create from within and express as far out as you can into the world, and make sure that there's nothing left inside of you when it comes time to turn this meat suit back into the world that it came from. Release the expectations, bro. You got a whole lot. I know I say bro, but I'm talking to every single person, all the human beings that exist in my community. So understand how important it is, one, the self-acceptance. We're going to talk about that every single week, every day if I can, but self-acceptance first, and then actualize what you know into the world, let the world decide what they feel about it. But just know the important thing is creating to make them feel, not to make them love you or hate you. Create to make them feel, because that's what our job is to do as creative artists. And if they love you, how about it? And if they don't, at least you're doing what you're supposed to do. All right, that's basically wraps for today's video. Yeah. I don't even think I got the self promo in here, but this will be it right now. You know, if you're kicking it with the channel, you can do anything. All the links will be in the description, but if not, just being here is something that I appreciate, because this is a part of my creative journey. It may not be the main aspect, it may not be the role, the identity that I fully push into the world, but this is an aspect of the artist that I am in the world that we live in, where there are more technologies to express yourself as an artist than there are tools. So this is just me taking advantage of the mediums that I have to communicate, to express myself to my people and to my community, and to share myself, to be a part of this culture. But other than that, you know, I'm blessed to be a part of this journey, and I'm blessed that I'm able to share my journey, especially before I feel like it even is totally presentable. I'm blessed I'm able to share just my real life, my real ideas and thoughts as I'm going on it, because who knows, bro? Where you're at in the journey could be a place that somebody wants to. Forgive me, but where you're at in your journey could be a place that somebody else is trying to get to, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next year, in the next 10 years. But it's important, especially for us as artists, to share ourselves and share our journey and express ourselves authentically, because any bit of information, any bit of insight that we have could inspire somebody else's complete lifestyle transformation into the path that they've always been supposed to be on, but they've never been allowed to, or even been in the environment to be aware of. So continue to create, continue to give yourself that opportunity to, I'm out here just yapping at the end of this now. I could have wrapped this up 5 minutes ago, but continue to create. And we're going to conclude this video saying that just focus on the step you have to take right now and the next step, but don't let the next step stop you from making a decision about the step you have to take right now. And just keep pushing on that until you have the means to see what the next 10 steps are. One step at a time. 2025, bro, we're doing everything that we said we were going to do. Actually, there's another part I want to add to this. I totally forgot. If you're a creative artist, make sure that you are adding not only what art you do, but if you have like a brand and like a brand page, make sure you include that in the comments. Your name, your brand page, and what you do. Because I really think this could be a huge opportunity for us to like collectively build in the comments this like ongoing network of creative people. And just for people to go through video to video to video and see like, okay, this person does this, this person does this, this person does this. And then we either make an overarching community or platform or network for us, or at least allow people in field and in industry to see each other and be a part of this movement that is all of us having the opportunity to authentically express ourselves creatively.
All right, gang members. You guys have a terrific rest of your day. I'm going to try to have mine. And I'll see you guys another time. Let's rock out. I'll catch y'all later.